What's up everyone? Towelie here with Unstable Commanders, bringing you a new video. This time it will be a deck tech video, which is going to be a new series I will be doing to build different decks to see which one will be best for cEDH, starting with color combinations. With this video we're going to be starting with Colorless, and then we're going to end it with Bloomburrow, and then of course we're going to be doing other deck techs after that. Before we get started, just a few things I want to go over. Number one, that giveaway I did at Twitter X was amazing. Thank you everyone for participating, joining, inviting, all that fun stuff to see the channel and the page grow. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be starting a new one right now. The new one's going to be with the other two precons, the squirrel and the rabbit. In order for you to enter, number one, must live in the US or Canada. Yeah, Canadians can join this one. You must be subscribed, which make sure you do put your subscriptions on public so I can come find you. You must like this video or any other video before the giveaway ends, which is going to end on September 7th to 24. Then you must comment down below which commanders you would like me to build in a future video. So example, the next video after this will be themed green. So which commander you would like me to build, that is the color green. And then bonus entry, you could invite someone to subscribe as well. Comment down below who you invited, which of course that person will also have to be subscribed, and make sure they have their subscription public so that way I can come find them as well for your bonus entry. Number two, if you would like to join us in the gameplays on Mondays and every other Saturdays, 8:45 p.m. Central Standard Time, all you gotta do is go on the description box below and click on the invite link to the Discord Unstable Commanders. If the link doesn't work, just let me know in the comment section. I'll send you a link. I'll reply with the link. And number three, you want to follow us on Twitter X at UCommanders, so that way you could follow me for updates, me posting some wild shenanigans, and giveaways as well, as I'm going to be alternating between Twitter X and YouTube for giveaways from now on. Without further ado, let's get started with the colorless deck tech, which is going to be Liberator, Urza's Battlethopter. What Liberator does is a 3 generic legendary artifact creature thopter. Flash, flying, you may cast colorless spells and artifact spells as though they have flash. Whenever you cast a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast that spell is greater than Liberator's power, put a +1/+1 counter on Liberator. The last part, don't worry about it, scratch it. We're more focused on the middle part that gives colorless spells and artifacts flash. That's the awesome part. Now, any cEDH content creator will tell you lands is the most important thing to focus on first. So we're going to be going over lands first. Then after lands, it'll be planeswalkers, creatures, sorceries, instants, artifacts, and typically enchantments, but in this case, there's no enchantments in this deck, so we'll be skipping it on this episode. So let's start with lands. There are 27 lands in total. I'm only going to be focusing on the important lands. The rest of them you can look at through the link that I'm going to be attaching on the description box of my Mox field. So let's go over the important ones that's going to work well with this deck. Number one being Crystal Vein. That will partner with Crucible Worlds. And for those who don't know what Crucible of Worlds does, it's 3 generic artifacts. You may play lands from your graveyard. And with Crystal Vein, the second ability being tap, sacrifice Crystal Vein, add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool, it combos off really well because you could just sacrifice the Crystal Vein, making 2 mana, and if you haven't played a land, then you could play that land again, sacrifice it, and now you just have 4 colorless mana in your mana pool. Great way to start the turn. You have Emergent Zone, which this is just in case Liberator is not on your field, or Liberator is just way too expensive to where you don't want to flash it in again. you could use Emergent Zone to give everything flash. For Mario Bolt is a great way to dig in your deck. When it comes to colorless decks, there's two things that you're going to lack, and that's going to be interaction and tutors. So for Mario Bolt, 3 colorless tap, discard a card, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Put one of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So this will allow you to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig. And what would be really nice about for Mario Bolt is when you combo it with artifacts such as Miko Sync Lattice and Voltaic Key, you could have that as an artifact, use the Voltaic Key to untap it, and then tap it again with the 3 generic mana to dig even further for your win cons. Gemstone Cavern is just to be ahead, of course. Adventurous Fair for tutors. Now, Miko, Center of the Sea. Now, some of y'all may be thinking, what in the blue hell are you doing adding Miko in a cEDH deck? Simple. As I stated, this deck, Colorless, does not have a lot of interaction. Miko is your best interaction card for Oracle players, Breachline players, anyone who wins with the library in the graveyard, which also includes the Gitrog monster, which we recently played against in one of our gameplays. So what you want to do, for example, when it comes to Oracle players is, when the player, let's say in front of me there's a rock side player, they play Thoracle, they would on the stack hold priority, play Demonic Consultation, Taylor Pack, Brain Freeze, whatever is gonna put their library in the graveyard. You have Miko out. You could be like, oh yeah, like that could resolve, but in response to the ETB, tap 2, tap Miko, I'm gonna force you to draw. Well, it's gonna force everyone to draw. It's not a May. They will lose on draw if they have nothing else in their library. So it's a great way to just interact. I don't recommend it in all cEDH decks. You'll literally see this only in Liberator. That's it. You got the Merix, which will create you 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Mike tokens that has Toxic 1 or Infect 1, whatever you want to call it. You have Strip Mine to combo all with Crucible Worlds as well. You do have the Michael St. Garden, which I'm going to be honest with you, I'm barely going to use. Probably just have it as a land. Treasure Vault for the treasure tokens, and then you have all the Urza lands. There's a total of 7 Urza lands, combo with Urza's Workshop, which has Metalcraft, tap, add colors for each Urza's land you control. And with Metalcraft, you have to make sure you have 3 more artifacts to be able to use it. Realistically, the most you'll be able to get is 6, including the workshops, and Saga's only in the battlefield for 3 turns, unless you bring it back with Crucible Worlds. But yeah, that's at least the maximum 7 colorless lands in 1 turn just from 1 land. It's really good. It's really good. And then of course, War Room. 3 generic, tap the land, pay life equal to the number of colors in your commander's color identity, which is going to be 0 because it's, colorless, and draw a card. The rest of the lands you can look through on the Moxfield deck list. So we're going to be moving forward with Planeswalkers, which is only 2 Planeswalkers. Karn, the Creator, for stacks, and Ugin, the Ineffable, for cost reduction, which gives all colorless spells 2 less. Moving on to creatures. Before I go over the creatures though, I want to explain to you as well, I won't be going over combos and win cons until the very end. So I'll be going down the list. If you see the win con, like you're like, oh hey, that's a win con, why isn't he talking about that? Wait till the end. You have Canoptic Spider, which lets you draw Crypto Thrall, which gives your artifact creatures hexproof. Founder Inspector, cost reduction. Glaring Flesh Raker, that's a combo piece, note it down. Hedron Crawler, Joyous Familiar. Karn Legacy Reforged, which is a really nice one. One thing that was recommended to me to add, it causes like the Great Distortion. It causes like as a big boy, but I mean, I do like the end of the last part where it's just discard a card with mana value X, counter target spell with mana value X. That's a great interaction piece right there. Kadolth the Forge Master, tutor. Lodestone Golem, stacks. Metal Worker, more mana. Mirror Retriever, combo. Keep a note on it. Ornithopter of Paradise, Palladium Mirror, rocks. Platinum Angel, another interaction if you don't have Miko on the battlefield. You can actually flash in Platinum Angel to stop Thoracle combos and everything like that. Scrap Trawler, another combo piece. Note. Soulless Jailer to stop Breach line decks and everything to sort there. Walking Ballista, another combo piece. Note it. Wandering Archaic, and Wormcoil Engine, which is the final combo piece for creatures. So again, note it. Sorceries, there's only 3. All Dust, Introduction to Prophecy, and Rise of the Eldrazi. Instance 8, Desecrate Reality, Eldrazi Confluence, Eldritch Immunity, Cosmic's Command, No Elemental Blast, Spatial Contortion, Titan's Presence, and Warping Whale. Not impressive, I know. But here is the list that everyone is waiting for, I'm pretty sure. The artifacts list. 39 in total. Yeah! Again, because this is a very long list, I'm only going to be going over the more important ones, which is the combo piece ones. Starting with Aetherflux Reservoir, Exalt Altar, Basalt Monolith, you got the Clock of Omens, there's a Cloud Key for mana reduction, which you can note when I go over combos. Expedition Map, I added that card as means to fetch, because there's no fetches in this deck, so this would be a great way to thin the deck down. Forsaken Monument, you got the Horizon Stone to keep some mana that you're not able to use. You got KCI. You got a whole bunch of Mana Rocks. You got Manifold Key. Once again, you could turn your Fomari Vault into an artifact with Michael Sync Lattice and be able to use Manifold Key or Rotate Key to untap the vault to keep digging. I did add a Mind's Eye just to cover the 99 and for more draw power. Highly doubt I'll ever use it, but who knows. But if I do have something like an Unwinding Clock on the battlefield, which I do have on the list, then Mind's Eye would actually work very well. You got the Might Stone and Weak Stone. I'll primarily use it to draw 2, but if there's a pesky creature on the battlefield that I want out, like a Collector's Oof, then I mean I could also give it -5, -5. You got the Staff of Domination, you got Smoke Bomb, that gives all creatures Shroud, really cool. Sensei's Divining Top, of course, Mystic Forge, and then lastly I want to go over, because it's going to be part of the combos at the very end, will be Nim Death Mantle. The rest, of course, you could check it out on the list. Alright, now without further ado, win cons, combos, all that stuff. Start with combos. There's not going to be much draw power in this deck. So the best way to have draw power in this deck is to combo a Canoptic Spider, Scrap Trawler, Mirror Retriever, and Ashnod's Altar. 4 pieces of combination to be able to draw out your deck. So what you want to do is you want to lay it off like Canoptic Spider, Mirror Retriever, Scrap Trawler, and then Ashnod's Altar. So here's what you want to do. Have Ashnod's Altar on the battlefield. Have the Canoptic Spider on the battlefield. Have Mirror Retriever and Scrap Trawler all on the battlefield. Sacrifice the Mirror Retriever using the Ashnod's Altar to create 2 generic mana. Next, what you want to do is you want to sacrifice the Scrap Trawler, gaining 2 more colorless mana, and because of the Scrap Trawler dying, you're going to get the Mirror Retriever back into your hand. Use the 4 colorless that you just generated to cast Mirror Retriever. And as long as that resolves, as long as no one could do anything about that, you draw a card to the Canoptic Spider. Then you sacrifice the Mirror Retriever to grab the Scrap Trawler. You cast the Scrap Trawler using the generic mana, draw another card, you sacrifice it, grab Mirror Retriever, and you just keep going on and on and on and on and on and on, and you'll be able to draw out your deck until you get the Glaring Fleshraker. So when that happens, when you have Glaring Fleshraker in your hand, what you want to do first is you want to sacrifice the spider so you no longer draw. You cast the Fleshraker. It resolves, stays on the battlefield. Then you continue the Mirror Retriever and Scrap Trawler loop. While you're doing that, you are netting one Eldrazi spawn. And the Fleshraker triggers for each colorless creature that enters the battlefield. That includes the token that it creates. So when you do this loop, each time you are bringing a creature out, you are dealing 2 damage to each opponent, and you just keep doing that over and over and over again until everyone dies. The other win con that you could have, including the Glaring Fleshraker, is with Wormcoil Engine, again with Ashnod's Altar, and a Nim Death Mantle. So with this one, have the Ashnod's Altar, the Fleshraker out, Wormcoil out, Nim Death Mantle out. Sacrifice the Wormcoil Engine. When you sacrifice the Wormcoil Engine, you create 2 worms, one with Lifelink, one with Death Touch. Holding priority when you create those tokens and having the Death Mantle trigger on the stack, you sacrifice the other token. Doesn't matter which one, Death Touch or Lifelink. I always go for the Death Touch because I like gaining life. Get rid of the Death Touch, so you create 4 generic mana to use the Nim Death Mantle. So now you use the Nim Death Mantle to bring back the Wormcoil Engine, and you just keep looping it until you get infinite tokens. When this all plays out, because of the Fleshraker, when you sacrifice the Wormcoil Engine and you get the 2 tokens on the battlefield, that alone will deal 2 damage to each opponent because of the Fleshraker. And then you bring back the Wormcoil Engine through the Nim Death Mantle, that'll deal 1 more. So you're basically be dealing 3 damage to each opponent while you're doing this combo. So it's a little bit better, it's a little more expensive, but it is a great backup. And then with Colorless, you do have other combinations such as the Aether Flux Reservoir, Sensei's Divining Top, Mystic Forge, and any cost reducer. This would be Joyous Familiar, this could be Founder Inspector, Cloud Key, whatever you want to use as a cost reduction. And then you basically just keep casting Senseis, drawing out your library, gaining all that life, and shooting people with Aether Flux Reservoir. Simple as that, right? Alright, and that's basically it. So for this one, this will be the first deck that I will be playing on the gameplays. And yeah, it'll be fun. Looking forward to it. And I did make a little challenge for myself. I did recently find out that I am pre-diabetic and have high cholesterol, so to be sure that I am there for my daughter and my wife, for each loss when I do these gameplays with these decks that I'm creating, I will be doing 30 sit-ups, push-ups, and squats for the entire week. Yeah, as it gets easier, of course, I'll increase the amount. And then for each win, it'll be 15 sit-ups, push-ups, and squats. So that will be a lot of fun. I haven't worked out in years. So, yeah, wish me luck. Now, of course, if you did like the video, hit that subscribe button, like, comment down below. Best way to enter the giveaway, of course. And yeah, just follow us on Twitter X. Till next time, guys. See ya.